degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
And here we are, about town today. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and it's a pleasure to be with you today. And boy, do we have a great show for you. You know, one of the highest priorities of our town right now is how we communicate with our citizens. And we really want to do that a little bit better. And we are taking steps to move in that direction, a lot of steps that we're going to tell you about today. And we also would totally solicit your ideas. And I hope you'll call into the radio show today and tell us what those ideas are if you have any. But I have with me today as my special guest our public information officer for the town of Cornelius, Emma Mondo. Emma, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Mayor. I'm happy to be here.
It is just a pleasure to have you, and you have brought really a new burst of energy to the process that we have going on at our town of communicating better with our citizens. And boy, what progress we're making fast. We're making fast progress here,
Right.
and we want to keep the ball rolling. So
Right.
Emma, tell the audience a little bit about you and sort of how you got to where you are today as our public information officer.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for having me. This is very exciting. I've never done a radio show before, so this is a new outlet for me. But I'm very excited. But I do have a lot of media background. Before I was PIO, I was a news reporter in Charlotte. I was a evening news reporter at WCCB, Charlotte CW. I was there for about 3 years. And then I came there right after college. So I was one of those lucky people that graduated in the year of 2020. So didn't get a college graduation, didn't get second half of a last semester of college, but was lucky enough to jump right into the world of news. Did that right after graduation, started at WCCB, spent 3 years there, learned a lot about communicating, how to talk to residents of certain areas, what certain neighborhoods and communities like. And it led me here. I think I kind of was ready for something new, ready for a new chapter in life. And crazy news hours was not cutting it anymore. But very excited to be here, very happy to be here. And like you said, we want to keep the ball rolling. We want to keep that momentum. So there's been a lot of changes on the end when it comes to communications here in town. But I feel like things are going well so far. I feel like we've been able to expand our messaging, include some strategic messaging that is helpful to our residents. So yeah, loving it here so far and happy to be here.
Well, that's awesome. So let's go back to your uh, days at the TV station.
Yeah.
So how did you pick what you reported on or what you didn't report on? How did you know what was important to citizens to know about?
Right. Yeah. So, as a reporter, one of my favorite outlets to use was Nextdoor, because you could see the things that really were bothering people. You could see that their opinions, their conversations, um, the things that they wanted to address, and I sure did love looking at the comment sections of local governments' posts. It was always a way to find out if citizens were concerned about something, if something wasn't sitting right with them, if they wanted to continue the conversation. So it would take me not only reaching out to that government entity, but also reaching out to the people that were posting and commenting on it and saying, hey, are you willing to speak to us a little bit more about, what you're feeling, the things that are agitating you a little bit, or the things that you love. What are you willing to talk to us about? And a lot of times people are like, oh no, I kind of just wanted to post it on Facebook, but some people were very happy to talk to us about it, and that gave us kind of insight on where we needed to go. But it also, it helped reporters when the town would communicate with us, and there was a lot of times where other local governments in the area around the Charlotte metro didn't have that strong communication with media outlets or even with the public. And so when I started here, I was like, that's going to be my one big thing. Is just making sure that we are sending out whatever message we're trying to convey as quickly as possible and make sure that everyone is kind of clear on the messaging.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really like reading next door. I think the
Mhm.
it just perturbs me when
Mhm.
people ask each other about important matters going on in our
Right.
town. Why don't they just call me?
Right. Right. Well, as a
Or why don't they?
reporter, it was beneficial for sure because if you needed a story real quick, you sure going to find one on Nextdoor.
Oh,
But
I know. I know. You do know what's on folks' mind, and
mhm.
our mission is to get the right information, get the truth to people,
Right.
and I think that's certainly the difference when you're babbling around with each other. You
Yeah.
really don't know what's going on behind the scenes and what's tried and not tried, and
Yeah.
what's what the process has been to get you to the point of a decision somewhere. I
Mhm.
mean, it's pretty incredible to know things like that. So anyway, that next door is something else.
It
That
sure is.
and Facebook's pretty bad, but or interesting,
Yeah, we'll
but
say
certainly
interesting.
next door takes it to the next level, doesn't it?
Right. Yeah, and we're trying to, you know, find the most positive ways to communicate with our residents, and sometimes that might include, we want to be transparent as possible. Um, and sometimes that might include things that unfortunately some residents aren't the biggest fan of. But we us being honest as a unit, as one town, conveying that message with them, that's the main goal right now. And then that also opens up the door for conversation on, hey, you know what, you're not happy about this, tell us why. Tell us
E-
how we can do better as a town. Tell us how we can, what do people in your neighborhood want to see? Because if you don't tell us,
Exactly.
we don't know. So that's the best way for us to open that door is just let the comments flow, even though sometimes
Yeah,
they might not be what we want to see.
exactly, exactly. But generally, if you have a medium to talk to people and explain things to people, it
Hmm.
does make a difference. And
Oh yeah,
really, that's what we're trying to. It's not that we haven't had it, but we want our folks to use it and read it
yeah.
and communicate it. I've been a banker a long time
Hmm.
in this community, and it's really hard to get your message out. It's hard to have the right medium to communicate anything to. So
Yeah.
there's either uh, not the right option or there's no option. So we're trying to get folks to tune into us,
Yeah.
so we will allow that option. So and there's a long list of ways that we're doing that. I'll let you tell folks about that because it's a long list,
Oh
and
yeah.
we're trying all kinds of different things,
Yep.
but want to actually um, go out to our individual citizens and find out
Hmm.
what works for them. That's what's important.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And we've got a lot of different outlets that we're trying to use right now. I'll wait and tell you in a second just about the specifics that we're trying to do to break it down. But I know platform wise, we're really trying to engage our residents on Facebook and on Instagram, especially that younger audience here in town. We're trying to engage more on Instagram, and that older generation here in town, we're trying to engage more on Facebook. Those are our two biggest platforms. But we got LinkedIn and all those other ones right now.
Absolutely, we've got a lot to
Mhm.
cover today.
Yep.
So, as we move through this conversation, you'll hear all sorts of aspects about the things that we're trying. So, this is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes.
There's more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the way from 105.9
Welcome back to About Town here on WSIC. If you're just now joining us, I'm Emma Mondo. I am the PIO for the town of Cornelius. We had Mayor Woody Washam here with us just a moment ago. It looks like we may have lost connection with him, so we're working on trying to get that reconnected right now. But before the break, we were talking about just some of those communication aspects that we were trying to start with the town. It looks like we've got the mayor back on with us now. Looks like we've got him. Mayor, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thanks for letting me back in.
Well, thank you for sticking around. I know sometimes that connection can get spotty, but we appreciate you
Sure.
jumping back in with us. I was just telling them about how we were kind of discussing those communication changes that we're trying to make to benefit the town. If you want to take over.
Absolutely. That is so crucial, and we really know that folks don't listen, and I think it's important for us to figure out a medium or mechanism that they are most in tune with, and that's what has been presented to Emma as a challenge, if you will. Uh, to get people more signed up to our email list and ways that they can get quick uh, uh, direction to come listen. There's something you need to know right now.
Mm-hmm.
So Emma, just continue down that list of things that we're trying, and I think
Yeah.
that our folks can give us even more ideas.
Yeah.
Certainly hope they will.
Yeah, of course. I know when I started with the town back in August of last year. So it's only been about 6-7 months that I've been here. But I know when I first started, we were right in the buzz of all things budget for fiscal year 2026. And one of the things that we were really talking about is trying to get that response from citizens when it comes to what they want to see, how they want the town to spend their money, how they want their tax dollars, what they want it to go towards. And one of my biggest things was, okay, how do we get it to as many citizens as possible? And I was like, well, why don't we just send it to everyone that lives here? And at first it sounded kind of crazy, but I was like, no. What if we do like a mailer? Like we just send it to every single Cornelius resident. It's got a QR code on it. They can scan the quick QR code and they can take the budget survey. That way we can let them know. And we decided to do the mailer. It also included a QR code for our town newsletter. So easy to sign up. It really is just your name and your email, and that's it. Takes you 15 seconds. Both QR codes were on that mailer, and happy to say that we had more budget survey responses this year than we've ever had in the past. And I will say that I think that mailer was a big part of that. That was definitely one thing that was good at the start of our communication efforts, trying to get those to grow. And then the next battle was, trying to grow on our social media platforms. How can we best benefit our audiences on certain platforms? Because every single platform is different. It's depending on the audience. I know that, folks my parents' age tend to lean more towards Facebook. Folks in my generation tend to lean more towards Instagram. How do we relate to every age range here in the town of Cornelius? How do we make them feel comfortable? How do we target our messaging to make it something that they can connect with? So you could tell if you follow us on Instagram at Town of Cornelius. That's a little plug there. But if you follow us on Instagram, things are getting a little bit more fun on the Instagram side. We're trying to make things a little bit more engaging. And then our LinkedIn, our Twitter, our Facebook, a little bit more direct messaging. But yeah, we're still trying to work on growing those platforms. We've gained close to 1,000 followers since August on those platforms total. So we're excited to see how those continue to grow.
Yeah, and I'll kick in here to remind folks that I became mayor I think in 2017, and we had absolutely nothing going on in terms of how we communicate with our citizens. So it was
Mm-hmm.
such a high priority for me to get this PIO position, Public Information Officer position,
Yeah.
as part of our town government. And we had to convince a few folks because it's tough to add positions in a well-run, efficient, conservative spending kind of town like we are.
Right.
But to me, this was paramount important to make sure that folks knew what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can promise you they didn't.
Yeah.
Uh, I started early on, as Emma knows, in my elected career with something as simple as coffee chats.
Yep.
And we did those. I paid for them myself, and it happened once a month, every month, uh, throughout the calendar year, and we would gather at one of our establishments. Like the old Acropolis, some of you guys remember Acropolis restaurant. We moved it around a little bit and ended up at H2, which is where we currently are now. Uh, are doing it a little bit different now because there's a more effective way. The town took it over, which they should have. All of our commissioners have the opportunity to be involved with me as we present these programs, and we've got one coming up, folks.
Yeah.
It's Monday morning at 8:30 to 8:45. We'll kick it off at H2 over in Jatun Village shopping area, right across from Peninsula Prime, right
Mm-hmm.
there in the middle of town almost. And our topic's going to be transportation. There's nothing more important. We do survey after survey, which Emma's going to tell you about in just a minute,
Mm-hmm.
and it never changes. The top priority in our town is transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got good news for folks. There is something going on in transportation in the town of Cornelius, but you got to come out and find out about it. Now, we'll be putting this out on our social media. It will be a major aspect of what you can see the entire program on Facebook Live.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that'll translate over to some of the other mediums as well. But that is this coming Monday, the 24th of March at H2. So be there at 8:30. I think we're going to have a huge crowd. So make sure you get a good seat. But we'll be taking you from where we are right now to where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of this year, I want you to know you're going to have 6 approved under contract projects going on in the town of Cornelius. And you're going to want to know what those are. We've already got
Yep.
3
Yep.
and one soon to come, and there'll be 6 by the end of this year. So watch out for those orange barrels. Isn't that right, Emma?
Yep, behind the barrels. That's another thing we're starting on our Instagram. Trying to keep you guys updated with these projects because I know a lot of the times people drive around and they'll just see those orange cones, those dreaded orange cones, and they're worried. They're like, oh, well, what the heck is going on? And this is a good way for us to tell you what the heck is going on so you don't have to guess. And we want to be able to help you guys understand that a little bit better. So we're really excited for Monday morning. It's going to be a great conversation. Our deputy town manager, Wayne Herron, is going to be leading that conversation. He's the man who knows everything about transportation when it comes to this town. And Commissioner Michael Osborne will also be there to have some discussions about CRTPO as well. So we're excited to hear what that conversation is going to be. We're excited to see how many people come out and join us. And Mayor, you mentioned we're also, this is something we do monthly. We're having another one next month. It's a bit of a more social gathering. It's going to be in mid-April. It's going to be Meet Your Board. So this is an opportunity for you guys to come out, talk with your commissioners, talk with Mayor Washa, and just socialize, get to know each other a little bit better, ask any of those important questions that you want to ask. We'll have more information for that on our social media platforms as well. So keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is meet your mayor, meet your commissioners, but it's also come out and tell us what you think.
Right.
We know you have opinions because you put it on social media. So,
Right.
so come out and tell us to our face and tell us what you think about some of this stuff going on. As we improve our ability to get around in our town, i.e., additional transportation projects,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to create some heartburn because anytime you actually repair a road, widen a road, change an intersection, anything like that, it creates congestion. And if you listen and stay tuned, we're going to tell you ways to get around that congestion because there are a few ways to do that. But we've got to go through a little pain
Right.
to get to where we need to go. But listen in, and you'll know how to get around those particular projects that are the most active and the most creating the most congestion here in our town. So
Mm-hmm.
they will create that. So watch out for the orange barrels. But we've known this was going to be a painful process to some degree,
Yeah.
but it's a very necessary process to get us where we need to go.
Right. Got to go through the heartache to get to the better days.
Exactly.
Be worth it when it's all done, though, right?
It will. Traffic is going to flow so much better.
Mm-hmm.
We continue. One of the things that you'll hear about on Monday is we continue to get West Catawba Avenue widening, which we've been waiting for way longer than I've been around as an elected official.
Hmm.
We're going to get that started a little bit earlier. And yes, I'll take whatever we can get. We're not through trying to move it forward more quickly, but we're going to get that quicker than we thought. So it's now easing its way into 2026.
Hmm.
Was 2027. So we'll take it. We'll take anything we can get because there's nothing more important than the widening of West Catawba Avenue. So
Hmm.
great conversation. I like talking about this good stuff, Emma. So,
I know.
but we want folks to listen in and
Hmm.
hear us and understand that we're in a good place, we're in a good direction, and things are moving as it relates to our transportation projects. And we're going to talk about some more of these high priority items that is up in front of us here before too long. I mean, it's coming, and we want you to hear about it. So this is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, and we're about town today with our public information officer, and we'll be right back.
More About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, coming up on 105.9 100.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam right here. And our special guest today and for this entire radio show is our public information officer at the town of Cornelius, who is Emma Mondo. Uh, Emma, as I said earlier, has brought a new, fresh breath of air to our town as she tells folks what's really going on in our town, and she finds mediums in order to which to communicate with them, which is important. It absolutely is. And one of those mediums I think is quite important that Emma's doing such a good job with is our town newsletter. So Emma, tell us about that town newsletter and how you decide what goes in that and what doesn't even. So
Yeah.
let us know how that part of our communication tool is actually working out for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Very thankful for the newsletter. I think it's one of our best outlets that we have to get the news, get the information out to our residents. The sign up process for it is actually extremely simple. If you check out our website, up at the top under residents, you can click on town newsletter. It's called Keeping Up with Cornelius. You can sign up that way. It's literally just your name and your email. Very easy. Maybe takes 10 seconds for you to sign up for it. So there's my little plug for the newsletter there. So everybody make sure you sign up. But it is really a great tool to make sure you know exactly what's going on. There's always some different type of community meeting, always some sort of discussion. Our Parks and Rec department is phenomenal, and they always have great events going on, especially as we're heading into spring, first day of spring today. But as we head into the new season, they've got a lot of fun activities coming up. So it's a great way for our residents to know, oh, hey, maybe I can make that, or maybe I can bring the kids to this. Maybe, oh, you know what? I do have an opinion about this project. I would like to go to that community meeting. It's a really good outlet for people to kind of keep track of, what's happening, what's going on. When it comes to picking what goes in the newsletter, it really is just about what's coming up in the next 2 weeks. We always send out that newsletter on the second and fourth Sundays of every single month. So that normally comes into your inbox right around 7 p.m. Those second and fourth Sundays. But it's always just about what events are coming up that are really important to the town. I know we've got one coming up here this weekend. This will actually go out on Sunday, on the 23rd. But we have talks about the downtown master plan public meeting that's coming up next week on the 26th. We have another post in there about the community meeting that is coming up, another planning department meeting. And then we've got just a handful of some Parks and Rec events. So different things for you to check out there. But it's always important to make sure, we've got something that might be on a little bit of the more serious side. A little bit more of a tougher conversation piece in there in that newsletter, so people know about the serious stuff that's going on in town that they need to discuss or that they want to be involved in. And then we have more of those fun aspects, those things that Parks and Rec are holding, the family events, the Easter egg hunts, the hop into springs, the jazz fest, those types of events. So residents can always know what's going on.
And one of the other things that's so critically important to our
Mhm.
town, really any town, is our website. We take that quite seriously. We have redone that website. We've made it much more user friendly, which is important for folks like me that aren't uh, technical experts, I guess you could say. But
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I'm still at it, still trying hard. So, but that website is a jewel, and it's easy to maneuver, isn't it? Yeah, we put a lot of work, haven't we, Emma?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm very lucky. I came in, the girl before me, the woman who had the role before me, she started this new website and she did a phenomenal job. For our residents, they're able to navigate it easily. Easy tabs, easy to understand. Um, where you need to find things. We've got, different tabs up top, everything from residents, everything from government. You can find different departments there if you want to easily contact department heads, ask questions. That's a good way for you to do that. We've got our police and our fire pages on there as well. Everything is very well organized. Um, we do have some features on there that I wanted to make aware for everybody. A lot of people don't know about this, but we want to make sure that our website is as easily accessible as possible for all residents, whether that be those who do not speak English, those who might need a little bit more help looking at websites. We're trying to make sure that every resident has that accessibility and has a equal chance of looking at this website and navigating it the way that they need to. So if you're ever looking at our website and you are one of those people that may need a little bit of extra assistance looking through the internet, if you go to our website, there's a little, looks like almost a stick figure symbol at the bottom. That is going to be our accessibility tab. And if you click on that, it's got tons of different options there. You can change the color contrast. You can put it in dyslexia friendly font. You can enlarge the font if you need it to be a little bit bigger. Everything from the text height, hiding the images if you need to. It's all about accessibility friendly and making sure that our website is ADA compliant. That's a huge, huge thing for me personally. Personal connection there with ADA rules and guidelines. So I want to make sure that those things are there for our residents as well. And for our residents that aren't English speaking fluently, if that is not their first language, there is an option on our website. If you look at the very top right corner, there's almost a little emblem that looks like a flag. It's a light blue emblem, looks almost like a flag. It is our translate button. So if you click on that option, there's over 155 different languages. So you can pick everything from German, Hindi, Swahili, Spanish, any language that you might speak a little more fluently. It changes every single tab on our website to that language. So definitely great options there. We're trying to, just make sure that every resident feels like they are able to be a part of this community.
So talk about the fact that, if you see something from a public works standpoint,
Mhm.
i.e., a hole in the pavement
Yeah.
or a sidewalk that's buckled up.
Nope, it's all right, Mayor. I think I know where you were going with that question. We did have him freeze there again for just a quick second, but he was asking us, if someone does need to report something, if they see something, if there's a pothole, if there's, the trash can got blown away by the storm, how do you report those concerns? If you go to our website, go under residents, that tab, there is a report a concern tab. If there's something specifically with your trash cans, Waste Pro situation, there is going to be an option there for you to specifically request something related to waste. But at the bottom, there's going to be a Google sheet. It's just fill out your concerns. You're able to put in there, hey, there's a pothole at the end of Washam Pots. We need to make sure that that gets filled. Hey, there's this issue with this road sign. We need to make sure that this gets taken care of. So it's a great way for residents to be able to report any of those concerns, and they get handled very quickly. Me personally, I had this happen the other day on 115. I realized that there was a very large pothole on the backside of the train tracks heading towards Huntersville. And I filled out that sheet real quickly, and it was filled in within the next 2 days. So those are great options for residents to try and make sure that, if they've got those concerns, hey, we have an easy answer for you. We've got an easily accessible website for you to figure out exactly how to ask those questions. Other features on our website, we've got every single department on there. So if you have questions about the fire department, if you have questions about the police department, if you have questions for me as the public information officer, you can always go on the website and navigate it that way. Our emails are all linked on the website. I'm actually working on making a directory right now that is a little bit more specific to each department. Working on trying to get that active for the website right now. Trying to think about other features that our website has. It has a lot of history on there as well. Our previous communications manager did a phenomenal job making sure that the history of Cornelius was included on our website so that our residents that don't know too much about it or people that might be interested in moving here and coming up this direction might get the chance to look at it as well. So our website is definitely growing. Our platforms are definitely growing. I think one thing that's really cool about our social media platforms is watching how other people interact with it. Because we had that interaction with the website for some time, and now we've got it on our social media platforms, which is really cool to see. So many people from so many different age groups, different cultures, different vibes. You could tell that those vibes are changing on our social media platforms. And it's so fun to see the interacting when we do a funny video, a funny post, and people give you that good interaction telling you how much they love it. You could just tell that our communications efforts are growing. I think we have the mayor back now. Mayor Washington, you can hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi.
Absolutely.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
No, you're good. I was just wrapping up here before our next break, letting them know that the different outlets that we have on our website, we've got the language option on there. We've got the ADA options on there, and then kind of explain to them about how we've got that report tab where you can report any of those concerns and those public works situations. So
Right.
those potholes and things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's important, and actually, our citizens use that,
Hmm.
which we love that. That's what it's there for, and we do absolutely utilize that and monitor it for sure. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam here, and we'll be right back for our last segment.
Call now to speak with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam at 844 Studio 4. It's About Town on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam right here for our final segment of today's show. I'm so pleased to have our Public Information Officer, Emma Mondo, here with me today. I hope you can certainly be convinced that we're doing everything we can to communicate with the citizens of Cornelius. We try hard to do that. That's an important aspect of my job as your mayor. And, we're trying all kinds of things. I asked Emma to set up a little opportunity this past week. It's called Wednesdays with Woody, which turned out to be a really good session with folks. They set their own. They set their own agenda, and they meet me at a local coffee house, and we sit there and just talk for an hour. It is an hour because my schedule dictates that it be an hour, and we had folks dropping in for that entire hour talking about all kinds of things from Bailey Road to one of our major businesses in town that I should have known about but didn't, came up just to simply meet me
Hmm.
and talk about his expansion. So how cool was that? Just to be sitting there near where his office is and
Right.
to talk about things like that. So we'll be presenting a lot more of those kinds of opportunities. And
Hmm.
one of the things I do want to give Emma a lot of credit for is that she does a good job in preparing me for all kinds of things, whether it's media interviews, whether it's addresses that I make to different groups around town. She gives me feedback on that. And all those kind of vehicles are important for
Hmm.
us to communicate the way we need to communicate. So, you got a few minutes, listeners out there, to call in and ask us questions if you like. And I believe that number is 844 Studio 4. So, folks there at WSIC, if that's not right, you better tell me quick. So, we hope you
No, you're
will
right, Mayor. You're
call.
good.
We hope you will call and ask us a question in this last little segment. So, uh, one of the things that I have asked Emma to spend some time on is the relationship we have with our media partners, not only in the town of Cornelius, but throughout our region.
Hmm.
And all of that's important as we have good relationships with folks. When something happens, we want to make sure we are communicating properly with them. And
Hmm.
let me tell you, the best example I know is when we had a bomb threat at one of our local schools a while back. Emma, tell them what all we did with that, because it was when you were pretty new,
Oh
but
gosh,
it
pretty
was a
new.
work of art. Yeah,
Pretty new. It was my third day.
there you go,
It was
third day.
day number tray, and I remember kind of thinking like, okay, this will be good, practice for the job. But it was very beneficial to have the background I think that I have coming from news because, and especially news within our region, because I know a lot of our media partners already. I'm able to work well with them. I have a lot of these connections already. I have personal friendships with a lot of these people. So it was really nice to be able to, communicate as PIO and not PIO Emma and not as reporter Emma. That was a nice change. Um, but we utilized all of our platforms that day. Um, I also am the PIO for our police department. I run our platforms there as well. So that day had both of my phones in my hand. I was posting updates from the schools onto Facebook and onto Twitter from the PD pages. And then I was updating them and reposting them onto the town pages because that way people that may follow one or both or not the other one, they were able to still check in on those updates. And it was really beneficial to parents as well because we were giving minute by minute update. And it was also to just add another pinch of fun into that day. It was monsooning, so the rain was coming down. Parents couldn't get to the kids. Parents were worried, and our police department is excellent, and they were doing the best job that they could given the situation that we were in and the weather conditions that we were in. Um, but just being able to utilize our platforms that day in a way that we never had before, I think was really, really awesome for parents to see. And we received a lot of good feedback that day from parents from that school saying that like thank you so much for communicating with us. I knew exactly where to pick my kid up. I knew exactly where to find them. I knew exactly how things were being run. It was definitely helpful that day. And our departments do a wonderful job of working together and trying to communicate the best they can. So that day we were working well with fire. We were working well with PD. Um, trying to make sure that everybody was on the same page. And that's another big thing that I'm trying to push here as PIO is we can only communicate as well as we work together. So, if there is a situation where all hands are on deck for a issue, we have to be able to communicate that the best we can to the residents. Um, so that means, fire, PD, the town, all of us coming together for a joint information center kind of situation in those high stress moments so you can convey the best message to parents. And like I said, that day we had a lot of praise, which felt pretty good for day 3. But, you know, hearing that from parents, hey, thank you so much for letting me know that my kid was okay. That
Well,
felt
there's
good.
absolutely there's all sorts of situations that could arise, particularly in our services like fire and police,
Right.
that you really need to react to. And when you've got a public information officer that has these connections to
Hmm.
get the word out, particularly in settings like that where hundreds of children were being displaced. So,
Yeah.
uh, it moved from Bailey Road Middle to Huff Senior High School. And, you know,
Yep.
that just involved so many folks that were quite tense.
Yep.
And it is a tense situation, one that you absolutely have to be concerned over.
Right.
That really makes a difference. And that's why our public services areas, like our police and our fire, are so important. They really are. And if you ask our citizens in many of these surveys that we've done,
Hmm.
they are, it's between transportation and public safety.
Yep.
It always is between those two, and they run neck and neck as far as what's important to our citizens. So those are the things that we certainly have to make sure we're communicating with. The number 3 on that list is our Parks and Rec department,
Yes,
because
sir.
man, what a following they have, don't they, Emma? It's
Absolutely.
incredible.
And it's been really wonderful to be able to work with that department when it comes to our social media platforms. Each one of our departments has their own sort of social media liaison, I should say, and working very closely with the Parks and Rec social media coordinator, Emily Holden. She is an absolute rock star. I could not say better things about the work that she does, but she has such a creative mind that we're able to showcase our Parks and Rec social media platforms. We're able to showcase, my work with the PD platforms. Fire is doing well on their platforms as well. We have a new content coordinator for our communications department. Her name is Xavier Crump, part-time content coordinator. So she's with us on Monday, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. And she does a phenomenal job as well. So just working to grow our interactions on those platforms has really been a big goal of mine. And I think so far we're doing pretty well, wouldn't you say, Mayor?
Absolutely. I think we're taking this seriously.
Yep,
Absolutely. For
absolutely.
once, we're taking it seriously as far as the way we communicate. And that's where you got to start,
Hmm.
is to actually take communicating with all of our citizens, whether it's an emergency or whether it's just good news. We want you to know what's happening with your town. Transparency is the word. And that's what
Right.
we believe in, and that's what we live by, and that's what we will continue to live by as long as I'm around. That's for sure. So, we're really hoping that stays in a good direction. The thing I would encourage folks, when you do get an opportunity to uh, provide us with these surveys that we send out, and particularly as it relates to budget surveys, because that's
Mhm.
giving us your thoughts about how we spend your money, and it is your money. uh, we take that particularly seriously. How we set your tax rate. We can provide you, as a citizen of Cornelius, anything you want, but this stuff isn't free.
Yep.
So we have to provide provisions to know that we're doing the right thing for you when we reach out and ask you to pay for it.
Mhm.
So that's what sort of comes down with that. And I do know that we've come a long way in our communications. We're not perfect. We don't want to put that halo around Emma to that degree quite yet. I'm sure she'll get there. I know she will get there, but that halo's growing for sure. But we continue to uh, make things better, and
Mhm.
continue to change things as things make sense. But anything we do in any realm of town government costs money, so we got to make sure we're doing the right thing. So
Yeah.
I think that's a critical piece of it.
Mhm.
So lots going on in our public information sector within our town. Again, it's a department that has grown from nothing 7 or 8 years ago when I became mayor, to a full-fledged department that's doing an awesome job for us now. And we're continuing to learn We're continuing to evolve. We're continuing to figure out ways to work better with our citizens and keep them informed. So, Emma, you've been a heck of a great guest.
Oh,
Thank you for doing this today. We will have you back. You
oh,
can
well,
count
thank
on
you
that.
so much for having me. I had a blast with you, and I look forward to the next time. I'm sure we'll have lots more to share and new updates and new challenges, and we're excited to talk more about it next time.
Well, we know you're good at radio now, so
Oh gosh.
that was never a doubt in my mind. But
I will credit the
anyway,
TV background there a little bit. But thank
there you
you.
go. Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam right here with Emma Mondo, our Public Information Officer. Thanks for listening today. We'll see you soon.
Serving you better than ever